The first job I got was a job down in North Carolina, and I was a financial advisor for a company, and this company was a small financial company. They used to do stocks, bonds, mutual funds, but their bread and butter was actually signing people up for life and health insurance. So when I got out of college, that was the first job I did. To get into this firm, they had you going around signing people up. They had you, if you know anything about some of these firms or some of these people, especially life and health insurance, the first thing they have you do is they give you a piece of paper and they say, go sign up 200 of your closest friends and family members, right? So they give you this thing, they give you 200 names, right? And to start your book of business, they tell you to go around and you sign people up for your life and health insurance, right? And you're working on pretty much like 85-90% commission at the time when you first start off, until you can get licensed and take some of your bigger exams like your Series 6, your Series 7, your Series 66, and some of these different things, and then you get your life and health and property and casualty insurances, to kind of just, get you by. So, basically, I'm not going to say it's a scheme or a scam, but basically the way it goes is you go sign up a bunch of people, and, you get them to, do life insurance policies, term or universal or whole life policies or whatever. And then you would get a kickback or percentage based on whether or not, how much the premium is or whatever. And that's how you would get paid, working for these little firms. So we would, you're so gung-ho and you're knocking on doors and, basically they would have you set you up with a sector. And they would set you up. Some people worked with small businesses that would be commercial businesses. Some people were set up with people that were independent business owners. So they would set you up with different type of people, and then you would just basically, they give you a glorified handbook or phone book and you go around and you do certain things. So one of the meetings that we had before I figured out that you basically was out there knocking on doors, getting other people money, because what they failed to realize was, what you failed to realize were, you would probably end up running out of money because you were running on 80 to 90% commission. And all of the stuff they had under asset, all of the people you signed up, your family, your friends, the people that you needed that money from, you signed those individuals up, and then pretty soon that well will run dry. Pretty soon all your family and friends, that 200 people, the people that you came to love, and those people would end up, those will run out. Then you got to go knock on doors. Then you're knocking on people, asking them sign life insurance policies. And the commissions that you would get from your Series 7 or 66, that money under asset was always going into your managing partners. You would only see 10-15% of those deals if you were even invited on those deals. So one of the things that I learned from those stories were sitting in those meetings, and they would do these little training seminars for us. And basically the seminars were just motivational speakers to bring you in to tell you why you should be calling people in the phone book, asking them to set up these vague meetings where you just didn't know. You'd go ask people, hey, do you want to set up a meeting with me? And I can tell you what I do. I'd like to sit down and pay for your lunch so you can go for coffee and tell you what you do. I'll tell you what I do so I can, try to sign you up for something, right? We've all got those calls before, and then pretty soon you're like, what the heck am I even here for? So it's kind of like my videos. What the heck am I even here for? I ended up at a Browns blog and I'm talking about life insurance. But one of the seminars that really stood out to me, which some of the stuff you can take, some of the stuff you throw away. One of the seminars, the guy says, I know we got you guys cold calling and knocking on doors and stuff. He said, but if you want to be successful at business or successful in any other business, life is all about delayed successes and delayed consequences. The successes that you have today don't happen today because you're successful. Those are pattern and building blocks that you put down in front of you. Those happen in things that you've done before. You set up appointments and you set those meetings. Those meetings and appointments that you set up come from the calls that you made and you happened months ago, right? That comes from good habits. That comes from knocking on doors, and that comes from calling when you don't want to call, and that comes from staying and writing little notes and the handwritten notes and delivering the extra notes to business owners and doing all these other different things, the meet and greets that you don't necessarily think they're going to turn out to be anything. Those turn into your delayed successes because those turn into sales after a while, right? And it resonated with me. I knew in my mind that I was going to stay in that industry because I wasn't going to be a fool. Like, I knew what it looked like. It was 2007, 2008. I said, good luck. Bernie Madoff and a bunch of other people were, mortgage-backed industries was going down the drain. We're in the middle of the Great Recession. And I'm like, good luck me knocking on doors, talking about, hey, can you give me some money so I can invest? Yeah, right. But I did take some of the principles that they gave us, and I really could I really thought about them. He said, but also, life is about delayed consequences as well. And delayed consequences comes from saying, I can punt on that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm not going to really, they're really not paying me. I don't really got to make these calls, do I? Why would I, I'm going to do my little case study work. I'm going to cut out of the office at 3 o'clock. Why would I stay to 6? I'm not going to make these extra calls over here. Why would I send these handwritten letters? Why am I going to, actually go on a Saturday and set up a booth or set up a table or do any of these things? Why I'm going to do meet and greets, right? But that sets up for delayed consequences in life where you don't have anything in the pipeline that turns into sales, that turns into relationships, that turns into anything. So it's about what you do today either has consequences or delays in other parts of your life tomorrow. And that brings me to the rest of the story. Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers. When you look at it, we talked about, and if you listened and you've been a fan of my channel, we've talked about this ad nauseum. One day, the Browns are going to have to do something, and Baker Mayfield is going to have to do something in which he's going to have to win a game, in which he's going to have to prove, not only to himself, but it's to his teammate and his coaching staff, that he's able to do the things to keep his team in a game. And against the good teams, against the teams that aren't going to, shoot themselves in the foot, against the teams that have good quarterback play, against a team that is going to make themselves aware of what your game plan is and stop you and make you one-dimensional, is Baker Mayfield going to be able to do that? Is he going to be able to show and prove and do what he needs to do? And I think today he showed he was not able to do that. Am I saying that he's not going to be able to do that in the future? No, but I foresaw this day coming. I told you this day was coming, right? And it's not a blog to say I'm telling you so. I'm just showing you why, when, where, what, and how this happened. In this game in the NFL, and like I like to say, NFL games are at this level, at the highest level, are only dictated and won by 1 or 2 plays throughout the game. And most people don't really understand that. They think that, somehow these teams are by a wide margin, that one team is better than the other. No, there's either one or a couple plays, pivotal plays in the game that change the tide of the game that's very difficult to cause and make up from. Early on in this game, you look at it from a perspective, Baker Mayfield made his first big mistake of the game, which was the pick 6 to Minkah Fitzpatrick, who has not been playing well, by the way. Minkah Fitzpatrick, he stares a receiver down over the middle. And I told you coming into this game, and I said it a few blogs ago, the things that make Baker Mayfield susceptible to playing slower, to playing bad, to playing poorly are 2 things. Lack of pre-snap diagnosing what the defense is doing, and slow recognition post-snap during progressions. So if you look at that play, even when you listen to Nance and Romo, they're like, what is he doing? Where is he throwing? I don't see what he's seeing. Well, in that play, it's a classic case of this. which is very scary. This play scared me because it shows not only the lack of maturity that he's lacking in his game, it shows regression. It shows stuff that high school quarterbacks do. He predetermined before he got through his progressions where he was throwing the ball. You cannot win with that at a high school level. That is something you cannot do. And it was very evident because he stared the receiver down. He didn't look away. He looked at him the whole time, and it was very evident that he stared him down and he knew he was going to throw that football. When you see the receiver's body language out there, when you do things like that as a quarterback, you have to realize what leadership is, right? I'm a leader at my job, right? I'm responsible for 20 to 30 individuals. That means their paycheck. That means HR stuff. That means disciplinary stuff. That means your job responsibility, raises, all the above, right? There's a level of responsibility that comes with that. And every single one of those individuals on my team is watching me, right? They're watching how I react to Associate A and Associate B. They're watching how I handle if somebody shows up late. They're watching how I handle if somebody's being insubordinate. They're watching how I handle documentation. They're watching how I handle sending emails. They're watching every single thing because they're applying. They want to see how I react. The reason why sometimes I get on people and I talk about body language is a huge thing for wide receivers, and people get on them about body language. Well, the reason body language is very important is because when you're a receiver or you're an offensive lineman, receivers and offensive linemen are very well aware of if that's a 3-step, 5-step, 7-step. If you are getting sacked on a 3-step drop because you're holding the football, offensive linemen don't like that because they understand that 1-1,000, 2-1,000, 3-1,000, that ball is supposed to be gone. But you are holding on to the ball, which means you're not holding up to your end of the bargain, which makes them look like they're incompetent. Because people at home are saying the offensive line's not blocking. Well, no, that's a 3-step drop. He can't hold it for 5. The routes are only supposed to be very short. So these are things where you see the body language of other people on the team and it gets bad. Well, that's because they become demoralized because you're not holding your end of the bargain. Go back to what we talked about. Delayed consequences, delayed successes. You can't continue to run the ball, be vanilla, run the ball, give it to Hunt and Chubb, do this, shortenify, simplify. Yes, it may work in the beginning, but it's all about those delayed consequences. You can get away with that against Washington. You can get away with that against the Bengals. You can even get away with that against the Colts because the Colts have delayed consequences too. Their delayed consequences is you had a quarterback in Andrew Luck. And your delayed consequences for not getting him an offensive line, I mean, he had to retire early because he had no line and you didn't get him weapons. You had to get him Jacoby Brissett, who took over for him, and now you have a over the hill Phillip Rivers, who is a stopgap. Delayed success, delayed consequences. You can get that off against those teams who have warts, who have shortcomings, but not against the great teams. 2, you throw the pick 6, you're down 10-0. You quickly now have to pivot and turn away from what your strong suit of your game is, which is the running attack. People will say, well, they were stopping the run anyway. Well, I've always told you, go back and watch my blogs. Go back and rewind it. I've been telling you from the get-go. I've been trying to educate you. All 22, I've been giving that to you. You have to throw the ball in order to be able to run it. I know that's a very difficult concept because people believe in old school approaches. They believe what their fathers and fathers' have told them, and the Vince Lombardis and the Ground Chuck Knowles and the Joe Gibbs and all these other concepts. Football is like Tesla. We're not using fossil fuels no more. It's state-of-the-art type stuff happening in a football game, and there's innovations in the football game, just like there's in space innovation, fossil fuels, clean energy. There's things happening in football that happen all the time that you can't just keep thinking to have the same thought process. In order for you to be able to run, you gotta be able to throw. It's a numbers game. It's as simple as counting the number of people in the box. If you got too many in the box, the run game doesn't work because you have to take it into account. The quarterback doesn't block anybody. That's one guy. The running back can't block for himself. That's two. There's only 5 offensive linemen. Now understand, you can have multiple people. You can put a safety up there and you can run blitz. So think about what I'm telling you. You can have an excess of 2 people coming free on every single play. And if you have players who are good in space, athletic, and can tackle on the first tackle, you're not going to be able to run. The only way that you may be able to run is you have to get safeties out of the box. You have to make linebackers honor and make them get drops in depth on the play action game. So you have to be able to threaten them up the field vertically. Which brings us to the third point. If Baker cannot do that, it doesn't matter who's in the backfield. It doesn't matter what you're doing up front. What you guys don't understand, it doesn't work the opposite way. Offensive linemen are brake pads. What does that mean, G. Bush? Wide receivers, you know what those are? Those are like struts and rotors. What does that mean, G. Bush? Running backs. Those are like rear view mirrors. You see, all of those things I just mentioned, you can run a car with it. It might be rough. It might be very rough. Your car might sput and putter. You might not be able to bring the car to a stop without making scrubbing noises. But the quarterback is the engine. Without a quarterback, you don't go nowhere. You can have the best brakes in the world, the most shiny, nice new rear view mirrors, struts, road, all that good stuff. Beautiful. But without that engine, and without a beautiful run, specifically, if you're in NASCAR, if you're at the highest level, Formula racing, you better have one of the best engines in the game. Or guess what? You're not going to be competing. You can't compete at the highest level. And that is what I'm saying that this game taught us. This game taught us that yes, the Cleveland Browns have made it to a point where yes, the Cleveland Browns can compete with the bad teams. But we know that. They got enough talent to compete with anybody. They got enough first round picks. They got the best free agents at every position. You went and traded for OBJ, the best tradable asset on the market. They went and got Jarvis Landry. They got the number 1 tight end in free agency. They went and got the number 1 right tackle in free agency. They got 3 number 1 picks one year. They got the number 1 for Baker Mayfield. They got a number 1 corner in Denzel Ward. They also went and got a tight end at the number 1 pick. He was the number 1 pick. 2nd round pick at running back. Due to him messing up and getting in trouble, they got the number 1 leading rusher in the league in Kareem Hunt and have him as a backup. Myles Garrett, number 1 overall pick. So as you can see, yes, of course you're going to be good and beat bad teams. You should. But here's the thing. That's not going to get it done against your creme de la cremes, the top shelves. That's not going to get it done. Because what we seen again, what we saw again, is once again the level at which Big Ben operates his team. No crazy throws. He had a really nice throw to, by the way, I hate that dude's name, Mapletron. We're not gonna do that. That is what we ain't gonna do. Mapletron? That sound like a kid's cereal gone bad. Mom, I want some Mapletron cereal. It sounds like a kid's cereal that's actually trying to be healthy. It comes with vitamins and fortified vitamin C, A, B, and D. Get up out of here. But at the end of the day, do you see how Big Ben does little small things? At the end of the game, Big Ben's like, ooh, we don't got enough people in the huddle. He lets the clock run all the way down to 1, then he calls his timeout. Small things. And week by week by week, it's not about talent. It's the deficiencies in other parts of your game. Baker, you can't throw a Hail Mary into 3 different coverages on the sideline to Hollywood Higgins. What are you doing? You can't do that type of stuff, man. You just can't. You can't do that. Because you're not giving your team an opportunity to win a game like that. And this is what it comes down to. And I'm not willing to do this. And I want to address something really clearly, too. I just want to address it before we even get to it, man. My track record speaks for itself. My track record speaks for itself. Lucky for me, I got a thing called YouTube. And you can go back and look at my old videos where I'm praising Baker Mayfield from year 1. Where I'm telling him that he's the king of the North. And he is a possible 2019 MVP. Lucky for me, I got those videos that I got posted up there. And I'm showing people that, yo, when you play well on that field, I'm going to respect you for it. There's one thing I'm not going to do. Here's one thing I'm not going to do. I take the game very seriously. Because there's a lot of people that ain't put the work and time and energy that I put into the game. I've had 13 surgeries for the game of football. 13. K-Mac kept playing. Yes, it's very serious to me. I'm on the radio already. I still got a passion enough to get on YouTube and still do videos for it. I say that to say this. My integrity about how I feel about certain aspects of the game can't be questioned. I don't get paid enough to have an axe to grind against somebody that's not giving me no money. I don't have no axe to grind big enough against another grown man to say I'm just trying to be biased. Looky here. I done put more hours in a weight room, in an operating room, in a booth, on tape, than people and fans could combine. And I say that to say this. I'm only going to be truthful about it. I'm only going to be truthful. When you play well, I'm going to say you play well. If you play bad, I'm going to say you play bad. There ain't nothing, you ain't never going to be able to come back to me and say that I was just biased and I was just doing this and the media. You can save that media stuff for the politics. You keep that over there and whether you're going to vote or not. You leave that on CNN or Fox. But all this narrative with I'm going to use the Cleveland media and they just want to do this. No. Listen, let's be clear. There's a couple people in the Cleveland media that had actually played the game. And we was doing that before we started on YouTube and writing articles and doing these games. Listen, you think we care that much to hate on somebody? We don't. We was tackling people, running in the sun, way before this happened. So my integrity in terms of what I'm saying and what I feel is not to be questioned. Period, point blank. You can say, you know what, G. Bush, I disagree with the synopsis. I disagree. I think Baker's playing a little better. I ain't never had no problem with nobody saying I disagree with you. We can have that conversation. You call me on the radio. Matter of fact, you call me every Saturday, 216-578-0092. Let's talk. Every Saturday, 8 to 12. You want to call me on the pregame? Same number. Every Sunday, Browns pregame. You can catch me 9 to 1 to kickoff. We can argue about that. You can comment below. We can talk. I answer every single comment. But here's what we're not going to do. Please don't hit me with no cornball stuff talking about some you just want to hate on another man. You listen, we ain't got enough time, energy, and effort to be talking about hating. You throw 2 interceptions, man up and take them 2 interceptions. That's it. That's all there is to it. You get another opportunity to prove yourself next week. But as far as right now, as far as today, as far as what we seen on tape today, that's not going to get it done. It's just not. It's just not. It's just not. And if you want to be a fan, that's great. Be a fan. But please, leave all that media bias, that blanket statement stuff, leave that off of my name. You can say, you can put that on whoever you want to put that on, but to me, as a dude that played this game and that uncovered this game and that does play-by-play on the high school level, that played in the college level, that continues to do it and consistently done it for over 20 some odd years, miss me with that. We ain't got no time for that. We don't do that over here. As always, man, Browns fans, it's all about progress. But as of today, I told you here first, life is about delayed success, delayed consequences. The Browns are 4-2. We can applaud them for that. But unless they get quarterback play and competent quarterback play, this team will not be talking about anything deep in the playoffs. They will not be progressing because it's simple as this. We are not beating Big Ben. We are not beating Lamar Jackson. We're not beating Deshaun Watson. We're not beating Patrick Mahomes. We're not even beating Ryan Tannehill. We're not beating other teams if we can't make the routine passes at a position that is at a premium. That's in the discussion. Did everybody play good today? No. But let's keep it a buck. The buck stops at the person, and the person that gets the $500 million contracts. Those are the guys. So stop all the conflating. And linemen don't get $500 million deals. Receivers don't get $500 million. The quarterbacks get the guaranteed dollars. And they get it for a reason, because it's the most important position in all of football. Please, in all of sports, remember that. Remember that. The Browns got to get better. They got to get better. Coach Stefanski, hey, that game you called today, garbage. I don't know if you thought you was getting off on this one. Garbage. Garbage. I told you, if Baker was hurt, if he was hurt, you should have played Case Keenum. If he was hurt, you should have played Case Keenum. Because this game plan didn't have no creativity in the pass game, no creativity in none of the intermediate game. And if you was trying to protect him, he should not have been playing. You did not put your team in the best position to make no plays today. You didn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, they gave this one away. They gave it away. And by the way, y'all got the brakes beat off y'all physically too. It was an old school game. Physically got the brakes beat off of y'all. Physically. Y'all better hope Wyatt Teller come back quick too. Y'all listen. Y'all better hope Nick Chubb and Wyatt Teller come back quickly. Quickly. Expeditiously. In a hurry. Fast. Jettison. On the move. On the hop. Boy, I tell you, man. Boy, I'm telling you. And this is my last thing before I wrap it on up. There ain't much to talk about from this game. This is my last thing before I wrap it on up. I'm not okay with continuously getting my behind handed to me by the Steelers. And for every fan out there, you shouldn't be out here feeling the same way. You need to keep these fair weather Browns cats from around y'all. You catch me next week. But I'm not trying to hear nobody talking about I didn't expect them to beat the Steelers. Don't nobody give a damn what you expected. That's half the problem. You don't expect nothing. I'm tired of going out here every single time getting my hat handed to me by these Pittsburgh Steelers and them laughing and joking, kiki, ha-ha, drinking Kool-Aid, rubbing their shoulders, Big Ben hanging out like he at a wine and cheese party. And everybody on our sidelines looking around like they just got hit with a Category 5 hurricane. I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of the excuses for it. I'm tired of people saying we had a good season. This the problem. We give out too many damn participation trophies over this way. We got a participation trophy and everybody want to bake warm cookies. We got a lot of grown men turning into teen moms. Well, it's okay. It's okay. You guys are too negative. Get up off the sidelines. You guys are too negative in the media. Get up off the sidelines, bro. We'll call you back when it's safe. But as for now, we got to go out hunting for our food. We'll call you back when it's safe. But it's wolves in the wilderness. It's wolves, bears, and all kind of wild animals out here. We ain't out the wilderness yet. We are not out the wilderness yet. We'll call you when we get out the wilderness and we in the first round. Until then, you get the warm cookies ready in the milk. Talking about these participation trophies. Stay out of the comment sections with these participation comments. We getting our hats handed to us with Jim Nance and Tony Romo in the number one. I'm tired of doing that. I'm sick of that, man. Giving us these charity speeches. It's the fourth quarter. They talking about fishing, boating, what you eating out, where we going to after dinner, what we doing next week. I'm tired of that. Y'all thought y'all was off the hook. No, I'm tired of that. I ain't telling no more stories in the second half of this blog. Yeah, this is a long blog. Y'all gonna hear that. All these doggone people out here. This is half the doggone reason ain't no Browns fans out here moving around. Y'all is rubbing somebody's shoulders, talking about it's okay, we doing better than we was doing. Team, this squad is out here coming off of 0-16, 1-15. You talking about some it's okay. We'll get them next year. No, it ain't okay. Generation after generation after generation defecting. Ravens fans walking around all happy with their gear on. Steelers fans, loud, proud, obnoxious, waving a terrible towel, all in the city limits. You know why? Because you make them comfortable. You inclusive. You let them tell all the jokes around the water cooler at the office. Get up out of here with them comments talking about we 4-2. Shouldn't you take it easy? People on Twitter, take it easy. Don't you listen. Talking about what we was doing in 1964. This kid's out here born in 2010s. They don't even know the Browns was good at once upon a time. We're 4-2, be happy. That's for you. As for me, and the real dudes that want to hold them to a standard, as for me and the real bandits that want to hold these dudes to a standard and we going to hold that trophy up one day, we'll tell you when enough is enough. And we'll call you when we in the AFC Championship game and you get the cookies ready. But as for now, we in the wilderness. We got some fighting to do. We got some wolves to get to. We got some hunting to do. We got some tending to get to. We'll catch up with y'all at the end of the season. As always, hit the like, subscribe button, and we still don't like Pittsburgh.